You see, we are outrageously arrogant when it comes to small things. We are so fond of claiming that which we do not have. But we are absurdly humble when it comes to claiming that which we really have. You won't have a large house, but you won't feel shy of boasting it to others that I have a large house and so much money. But it terrifies you no end to admit that you already have enlightenment. There you want to act humble. Why don't you just admit?
Because we have different definitions of the way the enlightened people behave. So then you will think that if we are enlightened, then why not be behaving in that way? Then we think that
Which particular way?
we should behave. Means whether we should have some followers like Buddha and teach them, or we should give discourses, or what enlightened people do.
Do all of that. Go ahead. How will that help? You can give as many discourses as you want. How will that help? Or you can dance like Meera. You can even try getting crucified like Jesus. Just as a hobby, Obviously you can get resurrected also, so there is no real danger. Try all that. Or get your tongue cut off and eyes gorged out like Mansoor. That's what happens to enlightened people, so it's cool. Or dance.
Enlightened people cannot be like the earlier discussion you were saying that enlightened people have to be pura, it cannot be adhura, and therefore pura in the realm of living in the world, you cannot leave your child, you cannot leave your duties, you have to be there. If you have a 10-year-old child, you have to look after the child. If you have a family, you have to look after the family. So the definition of enlightenment misguides the less maybe sort of the lay people. I can say that you have to be certain way. Enlightenment, what people say is like you leave everything, you become completely merged with the God. So then people think that we cannot sit and chant. We have our social obligations and responsibilities, and therefore
no,
we
obviously
have enlightenment. We know we can sit in our bedroom and we can have those golden lights around us. We can feel one with the God. We do experience those moments. But at the same time, when we come out in the world, then we think that, okay, we are probably half enlightened or semi-enlightened.
No, obviously one cannot leave what you are calling as duties or child. One surely cannot leave them. What does one leave? When does one leave anything or anybody? Leaving something is one thing and getting it snatched away from you is another, right? When you say leaving, it's an act of free will. When can one drop anything? When does that happen? You must have dropped a few things at some point in time, somewhere. When does dropping happen? When do you leave voluntarily out of free will? When does that happen?
When you think it's no more required, you can do without it.
In fact, you are better off without it. And then it just drops. So obviously dropping cannot happen till the point you see that this is all that you have and this is of tremendous significance to you. Now who is this you to whom this is tremendously significant? Who is this you? Let's put it this way. There is something that I am terribly attached to. I cannot drop. Who is this fellow who cannot drop? Who cannot leave? Who is this fellow?
It's me.
Let's see. This me mistakenly eats some pills. And has a memory lapse. Has a memory lapse. The same object that this me was so terribly attached to is now lying by my bedside. Will I still be attached? The memories are gone. And with the memory, the identity is gone. Will I still be attached? Yesterday I was saying, I will die if this thing or this body or this person is taken away from my life. Yesterday I was saying, I will collapse if I do not fulfill my duties. And today, with memory, the same thing or the same person is there right beside me. Does it mean anything to me anymore? Alright. So who is this me who cannot drop? Is it a physical entity? The physical entity is the same. Who is this me who cannot leave? Is it a physical entity? Who is this me then? What in the mind? The identity, which is just a thought. With that thought no more arising, that same thing or that same person who used to mean so much to you is irrelevant now. He has already been dropped. So it is just a thought. Do you see that? It has no other substance to it. And that thought is arising from your past memory, cultivated identity. You are the one who cultivated that identity. Surely it is within your power to change it, provided you are eager enough. And if you are not eager enough, then no big deal. One can always wait. One can always wait. That's why in India we say time is endless. There is so much time available. One can always wait. But please be cautious when you say that we cannot drop something. You cannot drop something till the point you think of yourself as you right now think of yourself. It depends on your self-image. Who am I? The answer to that question. And obviously, you see, one need not feel uneasy about it because there is no compulsion. Dropping is not a matter of duty. Dropping is something that happens. We were talking about, remember that ripe, luscious mango? It drops on its own. It is dropping, is maturity. It is a product of ripeness. When the mango is ripe and mature, it drops. It just drops. Even, the coconut. Do you see how easy it is to separate the shell and the fruit within when it is mature. Until the time the coconut is not ripe, what happens? You cannot separate them. Separation comes with maturity. When the mind is mature, then it does not remain attached anymore. Non-attachment is the fruit of maturity. Otherwise it cannot come. Otherwise it cannot come. It is not a compulsion at all. It is not at all a compulsion. One need not feel that. At the same time, there is no reverse compulsion as well. Because you very emphatically said that we have to do this. No, even that is not a compulsion. That too is something that you have deliberately taken upon yourself. This side or that side, there is only freedom. There is no compulsion. You have chosen to act in a particular identity, welcome. And you are the one who will decide that it's time to move on, welcome again. Enlightenment is not an obligation. Because you are already enlightened. So how can it be an obligation? Nobody is obliged to act like a Buddha, leave the home, leave the family, wander to the jungle, leave the wife and the son behind. Nobody is obliged to do any of that. It happens. It happens upon ripeness. It just happens. Just happens.
So which means you cannot be enlightened if you are a family person?
It's the other way around. The very definition of family varies, changes. Have you heard of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? It means the world is my family. So what is your family? That definition changes. The one who is a mother to one or two will definitely divide and separate and will want to promote her one or two at the cost of the rest of the world. I often ask this question. We have so many mothers here, they take great care of their kids. And what happens to the kids of the beggars who are out there on the streets? So obviously you do not feel the same way for them, right? You may throw a few used clothes at them, but that is not the same thing as taking care of your own kids. So you are a mother of two. Your family is 5 members or 10 members maybe. And that is the limit of your ego. And do you see that there is a lot of violence involved in that? When my family consists of 5 people, then the rest of the universe, directly or indirectly, is antagonistic to me. Then I'll have to have a direct or implicit hostility towards the rest of the universe. So, the definition of the family has to change. For a Kabir or a Buddha, the entire world is the family. Everybody's son is Buddha's son. And nobody's son, therefore, his own son. You could either say that the Buddha has no family, or you may as well say that the entire universe is the family of Buddha. Same thing. Same statement. Just like saying Shunya and Purna. But this in-between thing is the cause of so much strife. In fact, it is the cause of all misery and suffering in the world. This narrow, petty division, fragmentation. And this fragmentation, remember, does not have anything to do with other persons. This is primarily a fragmentation in the mind. Because the mind is narrow, petty and small, hence the family remains narrow and small. Because my mind is so small that it can have space only for 5 people. So my family remains limited for 5 people. When the mind widens, when the expanse of the heart increases, then there is enough space in it to accommodate the entire world. So family remains, but family changes.
So Krishna lived as a family man throughout his life, being enlightened.
What do you mean by a family man?
With all responsibilities of his family.
Only his family? Only his family?
To whoever he was related.
And to whom was he related?
Everyone. Many people he would have been related to.
To whom was he not related? Name one or two.
He might not be directly related to many people, many.
Direct and indirect happen in your mind.
You can't say he was not related to anyone. Even you can't say for ourselves that we are not related to anyone, because
Yes, you too are related to everyone, but in what sense, you see? You are related in the sense of mine versus the other. You too are related, there is no doubt about it. Left to yourself, you would want to be related to all people in the world. How? Let everybody in the world pay rupees 10 to me. Rupees 10 each would make me a billionaire. You are related in the sense of exploitation. You are related in the sense that this is my circle and I am related to them as an insider, and the rest of the world is outside my circle and I am related to them as an outsider. So you are related, but you are related in a very violent way. To you there are divisions, right? Me versus others, mine versus the rest. For Krishna there are no divisions. The entire world is his. He is related, but not in the same way as you are. You are related how? When your car creates pollution, then the entire world suffers. That's how you are related. With all your misdeeds, everybody suffers. And even in the mind, you have so many divisions. You are related to a Pakistani. How? You are surely related to a Pakistani. You think so much about them. How are you related to them? By way of grudge and hatred. That is your relationship. That is not the way Krishna is related.